We are in the middle of writing an original choral composition all the way from start to finish.
Choral music from scratch.
Hey y'all, my name's Christian. I'm a choral composer. If you're just now watching for the first time, this is actually episode 5 in a series where we're writing this choral music from start to finish. There's a link in the description where you can see a playlist of all of our previous episodes, so be sure to go watch those, check those out so that you can get caught up to speed. This is a really cool episode because this is when we finally get to see the accompaniment, the piano part, make an appearance in the music. And this plays a huge role in developing the identity and the mood, setting the tone of the entire piece. So you're going to get to see what that first original draft, I guess you could say, kind of looked like for the accompaniment. It is not fully completed, and you'll be able to kind of see that there's some gaps in the music where the accompaniment is in the video. But this is where it all starts. This is when the piece really begins to take shape. We've had major progress happen from the last episode to where we are now. A couple other things that we look at in this episode. Number 1 is the key signature. The key signature has changed in this episode, and that is due to the ranges of the vocal parts. This is when we finally make an adjustment to account for the vocal ranges. And then another big thing is the melody itself. Who is singing the melody? Passing off that melody from the ladies to the men. I know from my own experience, basses, baritones, we don't typically get the most exciting parts in the music, and so I always do my best to give the basses, the baritones, the tenors, the melody whenever possible. Plus, that just adds lots of really good variation to the music. It really helps keep things interesting and fresh. As a reminder, if you are a music teacher and you're watching this, I actually have a free question sheet linked below in the description that you can download to use as a little mini assignment for your students if you want to have a little extra something for them in the grade book that they can use maybe as a bell ringer or extra credit or whatever you think would be best. As always, if you've been enjoying this series, please consider leaving a like and subscribing to the channel, hitting that notification bell so that you can be notified of all the future episodes that are going to be coming up in this series. I'd say we're about halfway through at this point. Thank y'all again so much for watching. Without further ado, let's jump into the sheet music. Wow, the music looks quite a bit different than it did in the last video. As of recording this, I'm actually only recording this like a few hours after recording the last one, so I'm actually really happy with the progress that has been made. Biggest change you can obviously notice is that there is now accompaniment. I did, like I said before, I really felt like that was going to be necessary, and I'm glad I added it because I'm really excited about what I came up with for the accompaniment so far. But I want to talk about a couple other things that I have done since my last recording. So number 1, I actually changed the MIDI instruments that are being used for this recording. So it's no longer piano for the voices here. The piano is now down here, of course, so that has the piano sound, but now these are actually the sounds of stringed instruments. So that's just something that I do whenever I'm writing for choir. If there is an accompaniment, it kind of helps me hear the sound of the voices in my head separate from the piano, as opposed to them just all being jumbled, because it'd be confusing if every single voice in this was piano. That'd be kind of confusing. So that's one minor thing that I have done. But other than that, a couple other things that have happened besides the piano accompaniment, which I'll play here in a second, is first of all, I have changed the key that we are in. So we were originally, if you recall, we were in B minor, and I have moved us up to C sharp minor. And the reason for that is because of the ranges. So whenever I met with Mrs. Baker, I'm looking at my sheet here, we didn't want the ranges to be too extreme for y'all because we want y'all to be able to sing this in the best way, right? And y'all can't sing it in the best way if you're, hitting the tippy top or very bottom of your range, right? And so whenever I was looking at this, if you go down back to that original change in the harmony that we had talked about in the last video right here when the baritones moved down, originally this note would have been a G, and that's just a little too low, and so I moved it up so that So that basses, baritones, tenors, y'all are now at this A. So that's a little bit more doable. And then same for the altos coming down here on some of these lower notes. I know that C sharp is not too bad, but there were some times when I was fleshing out the harmony that y'all were getting down to a B or even an A, which I know is probably doable for most of y'all, but again, just kind of wanted to play it safe. So that's one big thing that I changed there. Something else that I have done is I have given, and I think I mentioned this in the last video, is going into the second section here after we complete the first initial run, I guess you could say, of the main melody, is I'm now switching from the sopranos having the melody going down to the men having the melody, because that just adds some variety. And plus, men, I know y'all hate just singing the same old thing, right? Well, all the ladies get all the fun stuff, right? So we got to give you the melody. So here you go, you're gonna get it. So, but for now, I think I'm gonna go ahead and just play what I have so far with the accompaniment, and I think you're gonna like it. So there we go. Again, obviously work in progress, but I'm really happy with the progress that has been made so far. A couple of things you may have noticed, I did not mention this, but I threw in an E sharp right here, which technically, if you know music theory, is the same as an F natural. Fun fact there. I threw in this E sharp, and it probably stuck out to you when we got there because it no longer sounds minor, and that's because it's not. When you raise the third of this chord, it becomes a major chord. It went from minor to major. This is actually a technique that is used a lot in music whenever you raise the third of the final chord in a minor key, and it is called a Picardy third. There's a long story as to who that's named after and why it's called Picardy, but that's what it's called, a Picardy third. So there's your fun music theory fact there for today. And there is episode 5. Yeah, pretty big one, lots of big changes going into that episode, but the piece is finally taking shape. But guess what? The next episode is also really big because this is when we start talking about a very key component of the music that has not yet been discussed. In fact, it's actually very unique to choral music specifically, and that is because that is the text. What in the world are the singers actually going to be singing about? What words are they going to be singing? And you may kind of have an idea of what that text ends up being about based upon the name of the piece, which I've mentioned in previous episodes. So be sure to stay tuned and make sure you're subscribed so that you're notified whenever that video is released. Thank y'all again so much for watching, and I'll see y'all in the next episode. Take care.